Well, hello, everybody. Hey, Bobby. Thanks for coming in the studio today.
Oh, of course. Always love to.
All right. Everybody's crying. The shared appreciation program's gone. Been gone since Friday at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I still had people trying to get in it over the weekend. And, it's like still get in contract. You got other programs, other things you can do, So you got to go back to putting 3% down or 3.5% down.
Well, yeah. So I was going to say, are there any other programs that are similar to that or something where there's just down payment assistance?
Yeah, there's down payment assistance. Well, I mean, Cal Halfa has their own. They have their regular one, which is three, you can use conventional or FHA and then they give you the down payment. And so that's a first, a second, and a third for the closing costs. There's that program still out there, but it was not the 20% down, saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the original program, you don't have to pay anything to them. There's no, I owe you 20% of my equity. There's no equity share in the original program.
Yeah. Little difficult to get those offers accepted right now, though,
So yeah, it has to be on a unique situation.
Yeah.
Unique property somewhere, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're a buyer and you're thinking you're going to go write an offer on a house that just hit the market today and you're using down payment assistance, unfortunately, more than I would say about a 95% chance that offer is not going to get accepted because there's going to be conventional offers and FHA and all the other ones that are a little bit cleaner. So
yeah, but you know how they got them accepted?
How's that?
They wrote them wrong.
Really?
In the beginning, they wrote them with 20% down, didn't say anything about the second.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that would just cause a big hiccup in the transaction.
Well, what are you going to do? Cancel at that point?
That seems a little deceptive.
Yeah. People were doing it, or they're writing it in other areas, not in the financing area.
Yeah. Willful ignorance.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got their people in contract. They got some money.
I guess, man. I tell you what, I like everything to be above board. No surprises.
No surprises. Yeah. So would I, but not everybody works that way.
Yeah. But so now that program, I'm curious. I know originally they'd allotted 500 million for it, and then
dropped down to 300.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see, since it was so successful, if they're going to put in some additional money.
Yeah, because everybody was saying, "Oh, it's going to last till middle of May." I was like, "It's going to barely last 2 weeks," and it barely lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was sugar rush.
Yeah. Well, at first everybody was against it because of the way they had set it up, but then it got to a point where it made sense because of the savings per month you were saving. Even if you in 5 years from now you sold the house or refinanced the house, and what you paid them, you were $5 to $10 ahead still with the savings per month.
Well, and also, I guess the way that it was kind of described wasn't the way it really is, right? So they made it, they call it the shared equity, but it's really the shared appreciation, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's not like you owe, because otherwise, you start out with the equity from day one. So
right, so it should be a shared appreciation. Well, no, it's shared appreciation loan, wasn't it?
They call it like a shared equity. It's verbiage, but it matters, right?
Right. Of course it does.
Because appreciation is a big difference in between equity. It's going to be a lot less you owe them.
All right. When they first were talking about the program, I was totally against it because they were talking about interest on that second at appreciation interest, meaning whatever the value of the house went up over time, interest, percent per year is your interest rate. And that was like, and everybody's like, you can't do that. Well, it could, but nobody would have taken that program. When they dropped it to no interest,
yeah.
Right. And then only appreciation on 20% of appreciation of the house. And if you were on average, $450 house price, you save, for something to $500 a month. So times, 12 months could be $5,000 a year times, 5 years, that's 25,000. You owe them, if your house went up 100,000, you owe them 20 grand. You actually have $5,000 ahead.
So the thing I always,
that's how I looked at it after the fact.
No,
and then once I said that to people, they were like, I'm going to get it,
One thing I thought about though is like, we don't, right now interest rates are a little bit higher than usual, right? So it's not like we really need incentive for people to go out and buy homes. There's plenty of pent up demand.
Oh, there's a huge pent up demand. Yeah, we don't need it. That was like they were trying to give that money, 15 grand for people to have money to buy a home. Remember that the Biden administration was going to do that when they first got in. It's like, We don't need help. We need you to we need you to go, hey, builders, we're going to give you money. We're going to give you 15 grand per house to get rid of some fees. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. But give some incentive for people to actually make some inventory.
Yeah. Because we don't have enough inventory, and we're just this book of what we just did. The values are going through the roof because all of a sudden we had to get, 400 or 500 people into homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I know that's all California. That's not a lot. That's a couple in each area, but it just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised at how quickly the funds, vanished, because that was like, what, about a week and a half?
It was as of Friday this Friday at 9 a.m. in the morning. It said it was done.
And it started on March 27th.
Yeah.
Or 28th.
Yeah. 28th.
Yeah. Which was a Monday. Yeah.
So that's 31 days, right? So that's 3 days plus what was Friday 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. That was the 7th. So 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the full days. That really business days are not that many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 4 days in there of weekends, right?
Yeah.
So really 6 business days it was gone.
Well, and what was good about that program, what I did see was, people said, oh, okay, well, I was in the 400 range. Now I'm in the 475 range.
Right.
So there was definitely a benefit for especially for first time home buyers in that lower price point.
Right. Once you got over the fact that you had to give them 20%.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was talking to an agent last week, and she helped her niece get in, and she said, and her mom, the niece, so her sister was like, I don't really like that program, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, if you look at it this way, and she's like, that's perfect. I'm going to, I can see the difference why it would make sense now.
Yeah.
And then that's the difference. It's just, it worked, but it wasn't for everybody. Right. Yeah.
And so we'll wait and see what kind of new loan packages or products come out. Anything you know of?
They don't need anything. I mean, we have construction loans, permanent, construction to perm, which, my God, it's Monday. It feels like a Monday and it's Tuesday. Construction to perm, which is 10% down conventional, and VA, no money down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those you find a lot, you want to build on it. There you go. Now just understand you have to do all the state of California's requirements.
Yeah.
Whatever they are.
Oh, I know there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Oh yeah. Well, but if you want to build a spec home, or, and do a home and you have a builder already, there you go. You got money for it.
So now, I know we've discussed this in the past, and, especially right now with this competitive market, there's creative financing, there's seller credits in some instances. Right. But I had a gentleman that I was talking to, who's actually a pest inspector, and, he would be in a lower price point, but he's thinking about buying like a duplex or a triplex. Right. And so,
good luck.
Well, I know, right? I know obviously investors are doing that, but in a perfect world, hypothetically, say something sat on the market for a little bit, right? When he goes to qualify, say that it's a threeplex, right? And each unit is already has renters in it, and they're like, $1,500 a month. Do you apply that like towards his income to qualify him?
75%.
75% of whatever.
Right.
The rent
And it
is.
depends on the program.
Yeah.
Whether it's conventional or FHA, how it all works. It's not direct.
Yeah.
You have to run the numbers.
Gotcha.
But yes, you can do that. But so I've had people where they only qualified for, a couple 100,000, but then when they added the units on, now they qualified for 400,000 because they had renters.
Yeah.
Paying for that. The biggest issue is the fact that you have competition for 2 units, 3 units, and 4 units.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. You probably got investors all day just banging down the door, huh?
Well, they're trying, but I mean, a lot of investors are like, some of them I know a lot of them are backing away from California.
No kidding.
Because other states they can invest, it's cheaper and the rents aren't, so bad.
But do they have the same appreciation?
Nobody has a California. Well, in Florida, I think now, but other than Florida, California, nobody has appreciation like California does.
Because they just think about it. Like if you had a crystal ball, right? If you, 2 years ago, you would be like, man, I'm going to buy a bunch of properties in Florida.
Yeah. Well, everybody's been buying properties in Florida since 2010, 2011.
But I mean, it really exploded, especially, or even like Tennessee, right?
Well, everywhere other than California, because everybody was leaving California. Everybody's like, you're losing so many people. I'm like, we need more to go so we can sell their house and put somebody else in it.
Yeah. I was talking to another agent who has a couple investment properties in Ohio. I was like, that's interesting, man. Sight unseen, hire a crew, have them get it ready and rent it out,
Yeah. It's all over the place. Everybody buys everywhere. I know people buying hundreds of doors a week all over the state.
Okay.
I mean, all over the nation, I should say. Yeah. We're actually going to have them on the radio show end of the month.
Now, is that like a real estate investment trust, or is
no,
it
they've been, so what they did is originally, I've been on their podcast a couple of times and they're coming on our radio show. But what they did is they started by refinancing cash out of both of their houses, put it together and bought their first investment property, and then grew from that. Yeah. And then now they do huge seminars on how to do multifamily properties and how to get into it and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think it's too late. No, this is going to go on forever. We're never going to get out of this because we got to build 17 million homes over the next decade, and we're not even there yet. And then after that, we're going to have issues with other people coming of age a few years later that it's going to have another huge amount of people coming through. So it's a perfect storm, not going to get better. So if you can get investment property, get it, because people are going to have to rent. They're not going to be able to afford to buy. So, but right now you can buy right now. So buy right now.
Yeah. Just like you said, the opportunity bubble is
kind of gone, but you still have, people, you still can get in. You're just not getting all the money for closing costs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you need it, you got to raise the value, but then they're already there. I had my first property come in under value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I talk to you about this last week? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah. So it was in more like Atwater, Merced area. The issue is that people bought the house January 22, right? For say 411. They thought it was worth 480 now.
Oh, wow.
So, because they put $35,000 into it, which was most of that was concrete out back. And I tried to explain to people, you don't get money for concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, it's like a pool. You spend 60 grand for a pool, you get 10 grand for it. Right.
Yeah.
And the issue was, I'm thinking, okay, in January of 22, you paid a premium for your house to get into it. You paid over asking, don't know how much. And then you think the house went up in value. Well, guess what? It came in at 412.
Oh.
So, and they're like, we want another appraisal. Fine. But the problem is there's two comps that match the model that just closed in March.
Yeah.
The same thing. I mean, they're 24 square feet off. The lot's their lot's bigger, but that's only a major thing when you're a builder. What I mean by that is, oh, that's a bigger lot. That's a premium lot. So you're going to pay 50 grand more for that lot. After everything's said and done, the difference in sizes of lots, you pay $1 more per square foot.
Yeah.
So if it's a 5,000 square foot lot that's bigger, it's 10,000 square versus the 5, you get 5 grand for it. You don't get 50 grand for it. Only builders get those premiums.
Yeah.
And people still think, oh, it's a corner lot and this is great, but you're not going to get as much as you think you're going to get. This is not Love It or Listed or any of those programs on HGTV that don't work out the way that it works out.
Yeah. I was going to say a lot of times people are in the impression too that, right, because they put these improvements into their property that they're going to every dime out and that everyone's going to love them. Right.
Well, on Love It or Listed, there's no labor. Right. So there's no labor really. So it's just the cost of doing the stuff. So when they put 100 grand into it, they technically get almost all of it. Right. Not always, but that's what they're saying they get. So people think that's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you do your own bathroom, you do your own kitchen and you do it amazing and your cost is really, instead of having somebody else do it, you get it done for 10 grand. You're going to get that 10 grand out of it. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But if you do it for 50 grand, it's because somebody else did it. You're not going to get 50 grand out of it.
And there are people that are bidding, 40 to 50 grand.
I know.
Redoing a bathroom, man. I'm like, that's just insane.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah. Well, people were paying it. It used to be 25 grand. It was the average price for a bathroom. Yeah. Then it went up. And it was like, what's the cost of, inflation? No, it's the cost of you guys trying to make too much money.
I was going to say, yeah, I have a buddy who's a contractor and he's like, you know what, man, when I get super busy, he's like, I'll throw out some crazy bids just to kind of make it go away. And he's like, people will sign it, so it's more like throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. And people will say, sure. When can you start?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our next thing is I got to build a barbecue area in my backyard.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a good problem, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a problem, but I need shade and barbecue area. That's
Yeah.
what I need more of right now.
Hey, man, Costco has those gazebos.
I have one already.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't fit over where I'm looking. The problem is where I really need it is where the old one is right now. The problem is it's 14 by 24 and I have a 12 by 14 in there. So it takes away a lot of the space where you can't use it all. So I need to change it out to where it's just the roof, you know what I mean, and attached to the house so that I have the whole area to use. So because I want to put a fireplace back there and a whole other stuff before they take away my gas.
Yeah. Huh?
But then my other area where the barbecue area is going to be, the whole area is only maybe 12 by 14. So I can't have a thing like that size there because there'd be falling in the pool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The other side's bigger because that's where the grass, the fake grass is for the dogs and the other chase lounges and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about it. That's all I have. We've been talking about shared appreciation, my backyard, and other things. Did you get your Mustang done yet?
No, not yet.
It's not painted yet?
No, I hope to have it finished by the end of this week.
Yeah, I cleaned it finally this last weekend. It's like there's been constant chores to do at my house because we had the remodel on the pool. So the garage had everything in it. I couldn't get in there to work out. Each area had so many things I had to do, and finally cleaned the garage. And now I just remembered I had a air conditioning unit that was in a window in the garage. That I can't put back in because we put in new windows and it will mess with the outside look. So I'm like, okay, I got to get rid of it. So if you know anybody needs a window air conditioning,
well, I'll keep my ear out
because it's a year old, but I only used it a few times.
No kidding.
Yeah, whenever I went in the gym to work out, and then it was only run for a few hours, and then it was off.
Yeah.
So because some people have older homes where you have a window in the garage, you know what I mean, that goes up. Yeah, that's where it goes. That's perfect. But some people don't have any air conditioning. That's their only air conditioning. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say I saw a listing recently where it's still just the window shakers in each room. I'm like, man, that takes me back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't want to put it on Facebook and then have let me come over and pick it. I don't want people at my house. I just rather than somebody we know that here you go.
Yeah.
You can have it. Get it out of here. Yeah.
Well,
I don't. And I'm not my parents. I'm not my mom who had garage sales constantly. I don't want that many people in my house. I'd rather give it to somebody instead of make money off of it.
Well, if I know someone, I'll let you know.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nope. That's it, man.
All right. Make it a great